already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go.
City, got my mind strong, taking time bomb. Fuck a pot, I'd rather pack the kitty. I don't want the city, don't call me Diddy. Yeah, I rap my city, way to show them something they ain't ready for. Nigga voice firm so you can't ignore it. Talking shit like I'm fixing toilets. Shag a rhythm, I can see me torn. Horn cuffs, shades on, shirt off, strapped up, Molly down, blowing strong, riding around. The demonstration hold 50 rounds, I'm a fool with it. Got ratchet niggas that's cool with it. You got a cold heart till that ooh hit it. Stop fucking with me, got my mind set. See my mind state is at a high rate.
Next stop, Texaco, strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are tuned in to BeExposedRadio.com.
So we were talking about critical thinking. So we definitely believe that critical thinking is one of the first things we need to start implementing. Not just simply being told things, or how about this? You know, we tend to listen to people who get assigned certain positions.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when they have certain positions, we tend to think that it's truth attached to that because of their position, right?
Right.
Is that always the case, though?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons we should be doing some critical thinking.
Yes, I agree. I definitely.
Far into this unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new and take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, try not to say too much. Let your love come down. If you wanna rule, there's some rules you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move, don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song, be my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't keep her hands off from me. I know she couldn't keep her hands off from me. Touching hands till we dance in the dark. Show enough, she couldn't keep her hands off from me. We do whatever you like. Keep her hands off from me. I know she couldn't keep her hands off from me. So let's slide, you and me alone, to find who we really are. Crash into something new. I got that leg banging up the car. Throw me a kiss, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, I wanna take you, but we gotta groove so we can lose the crowd. If you wanna rule, there's some rules you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move, don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song, be my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't keep her hands off from me. I know she couldn't keep her hands off from me. Touching hands till
Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what? Huh?
What? Hold
What'd
on.
you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the old school Bruja radio show.
Give her a second to answer that. Oh, can I have one more question for the cards. I'm going to think the question and just pull.
And do you want a specific deck or
do whatever you want?
And I'm going to do the same exact thing in a minute and silently ask.
Okay. A quick read. A quick.
Just a quick.
A quick. Here you go. I'm going to do it for you. Espérate. I didn't ask it yet.
I don't think it matters.
Okay, I'm asking it now.
Stop playing.
Done. Done.
You done.
I look, I'm shuffling.
Alright.
Which does it?
What's that?
Okay, so 3 of swords. This is a love triangle. This is...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Oh, okay.
Now
we're talking with Mervin A. Bourne Jr.
and Lolita E. Walker,
where you get it from a man's
and a woman's perspective.
Hi, and welcome to Now We're Talking. It is Thursday, and we are so excited to be here. So welcome, and thanks for coming back. We apologize for being 17 minutes late, but it is well worth the wait. I'm here with Mervin. Hello.
Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be here for another week of Now We're Talking. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and you see 4 chairs over here because we have a power discussion that's about to happen. It is week 4, and we are talking building businesses and building the business of family, what that looks like and feels like when you're a single mom, when you were raised by a single mom, whether you were a daughter or a son, who surrounded you. We have so many questions to talk about. Yeah. And we are leveraging Mervin's book. So excited.
A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son. I'm excited too. Looking forward to talking about it.
So how was your week?
It was good. It was a good week. Coming off spring break with the kids, so did some traveling and some sightseeing. Went up to New York City, and that was exciting. I wanted my kids to experience that Times Square and that whole thing.
So you stayed up all night?
Yeah. A lot of the time. Yeah.
Nice. So your win for last week was just family time?
Family time is this huge win for me because I work so much. I get in late a lot, so just being able to carve out that time to create irreplaceable memories for my kids, I think is a priceless opportunity. So I would do it every day if I could.
Absolutely, if we could get paid for it, right?
Oh man, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a different kind of payment you get.
It's absolutely, and I think that falls right in the lap of what we're talking about. You know, what does family time look like when you're a single parent? Right. How different is it when you have 2 parents in the home? What does family time feel like? Where do you go? What do you do? Is it different? Yeah. Maybe it's not because it's your normal.
Right. I think it's something that's even harder to do if you're a single parent that has to work. Yes. And assuming you have to work like most people have to work, or at least leave the house to work on a daily basis.
Yeah. And then there's the difference. Like me, I'm a single mom entrepreneur versus the single mom I was in corporate America. So like you said, going out to a 9-to-5 job. Some single moms have another job. And then how do you handle that with sit-in care, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe we'll even get into some of that today.
Oh, yeah.
So my win for this week, if you're just joining us, we try to talk wins in the start of the show. And last week was my 1-day retreat. So
Yes, we
I had a
talked about it a
one-day
lot.
women's retreat. It was great.
How was it?
It was excellent. It was excellent because there were some new women that were new to the retreat, new to Walker & Walker Enterprises, and paired it well with some returning retreat participants, and even one client I had that I was coaching but had never met face to face to touch. So it was pretty cool to see her and then to see the impact that I'm able to have on women by empowering them to embrace, act, and thrive. Absolutely.
Excellent.
So guess what, everybody? We have 4 phenomenal people that are here with us today. We have Grady McClinton, who's a master in education over 18 years. And he was raised by a single mom. And for over 25 years, he's worked in the inner city of Boston, Baltimore, and DC. So it'll be great to, I think, get his perspective on who he sees that he mentors that might have single parents versus a dual single household or even partnerships. What does that feel like? And then can they take any advice out of your book as well?
Yeah, I think educators are in an amazingly unique position to weigh in on this issue because they deal with not only children every day, but their parents on a regular basis.
Good point.
And they see face to face, eye to eye, the issues that come out of the households into the schools with the children. So I just think they are very, very good people to speak to on this topic.
That's great because we have 2 educators. The other educator that we have is Mr. James. So James Hall was raised by a single mom, and he's been in Baltimore City teaching for over 19 years. So I think him and Grady can definitely provide a perspective for not only being raised by a single mom and now being an educator to children in that space, right?
Absolutely.
Then we have a college student, a junior at the Morgan State University.
Morgan State University. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Thomas Reeves, he's a college student and he was raised by a single mom. And talking to him, he's in psychology and he's studying psychology. So it'll be great to get his perspective on just human thinking. You know, is he thinking any differently now as a college student versus as he was growing up?
Okay.
You know, I've read your book, and what hit me when I read your book was me now as a single mom looking into the mind, because you wrote it from your perspective of how a young male being raised by a single mom thinks. And it's so different than me, a woman, and I was raised in a dual parent household.
Right. And I wrote it from my perspective, but also from the perspective of women that I've been influenced by or interacted with. So for example, my mother, and after becoming an adult and having experiences in the world, I realized her rationale for doing some of the things she did. And then dealing with mothers in the child welfare system and the criminal justice system, I also got to interact with them and understand their perspectives in terms of how they were looking at the situations that their children were in. So I was able to leverage those perspectives against my own being raised by a single mother from about around 7th grade, and come up with some really amazing insight that I know will be helpful to whoever reads it.
Excellent. And then holding on to the women's corner,
Yes.
so I'm not here on solo, although I think I can take you guys if I needed to. But
We all in
Laura
the same
Tard, Laura Tard is here, and she was raised by not only her mother, but that also transitioned into her grandmother, and just this whole arena of strong women in her life. So that's going to be another perspective. She's from New Jersey. She's an entrepreneur. She owns Jersey's in the house.
Without a doubt.
Little Thirsty Drinks. She's an entrepreneur, owns Little Thirsty Drinks. I've had the pleasure of trying them, and they are amazing.
I want some.
I know. I got to see if she is blessing us today with them. And she's been living in Baltimore for 13 years. So I think from the city perspective, we are very well covered.
Yeah.
And I'm just super excited to hear
Me
everybody's
too.
perspective
I can't
today.
wait.
Yeah. So talk to us about some of the high level topics, just about your book. Talk to us about your book.
Sure. So my book is divided into 4 major themes. And each of the themes asks really tough questions. For example, Do you know the difference between loving your child and spoiling your child? Do you know how to foster a sense of self-worth in your child and self-esteem in your child? Do you know or understand the value of raising a goal-oriented child? And if you do understand that value, how exactly do you go about doing that? And finally, the value and power of mentoring and understanding that value and that power and how to implement that in your child's life, especially if you have a son who's being raised in a home where the father is not in the home.
I was talking to one of the guests on the way up, just asking, when a father is not in the home, can you get that male perspective from an uncle, from a loved one, from a neighbor, from, you know, someone strong that's in your life, a teacher, a mentor? What's your thoughts on that? Because you were raised by a mom.
Right. You can get it from outside of the home, from other figures like a mentor or a relative. But make no mistake about it, it's not the same as if that person was in the house. But if the option is between a complete absence of those male influences and mentors and having them in your child's life, whether it be through school, through family, through opportunities you create as their parent, that child will be 100% better off than not having that influence. Being a single parent, you understand better than anyone else that the day-to-day, minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour trials and questions and struggles that go into raising children are very different for the parent that's in the home as compared to the parent that's not in the home. There are certain things that you just deal with and address that the other parent will never even know about, or maybe they'll find out about it way after the fact. But a child's main influence is always going to be the person or the people who they spend the most time with, and the person or the people who have the most impact in their lives. So for many of us as men, that person is our mother. And so that's just a reality of life, you know, for a lot of us, for most of us actually.
Okay, so you touched on something that I definitely want to make sure we let people know. We are on Facebook streaming live. Please share, because this is a discussion that definitely can hit some hot points, right? Especially me being a single mom. So I know I'm feeling like, well, hold on, wait a minute. What do you think about this? We're on YouTube, Be Exposed Radio, and you can also dial us at 410-702-5657. All right, we look forward to you coming back.
Proceed with caution, tired of lane, I'm exhausted. Poppin' Zanny Zan, sipping out the faucet. I'm confused, don't know what I'm doing. Wait, what I'm doing? Got me going, where the f I'm going? Out of space, where I'm going? Wait, where I'm going? Wait, where I'm going? Out of space, where I'm going? Out of space, where I'm going? I'll be up and away.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember Cause people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you see. This shit bigger than me, man. Like, yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. So no matter what you up against, go hard. Don't let it. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father dead. Mom's bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money, so you seen it's less than all your friends. But it a joke because your mother was a crackhead. Older sister hoeing off, giving all the homies head. I could wait for your response, but they let her hear me talk, so I just wait for the applause. I always knew that I was great, I got them haters so appalled. I'ma make it out the darkness, and my word is my bond. Delivering these bars while I'm gripping on my...
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out.
Exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like,
The Artist Exchange Radio Show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Now We're Talking with Mervin A. Bourne and Lolita E. Walker. We are here with our panel, so excited. So we have James Hall, we have Laura Tard, we have Grady McClinton. Both of these are educators, our two men in the corner. And then we have Thomas Reed. And of course we have Mervin A. Bourne and myself.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. We have a wonderful panel assembled for you all today, and it's going to be a very rich discussion.
Yep. So today we are talking about leveraging Mervin's book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son. So it's week 4 and we are talking business building. And typically we talk entrepreneurship, but we really talked about what about the business of building family. And when we talk about that, how do we leverage Mervin's book? Well, one perfect way to do that, now we're seeing such a mix of how folks are being raised. You have folks raised by single parents, you have dual families, you also have partners. What does that look like and feel like? Is it different? So we wanted to engage you guys. We're super happy that you're here. And so we'll just jump right in. Just want to remind the listeners or the folks tuning in, the audience, that you can write us any comments, questions that you have on Facebook at Now We're Talking, as well as Be Exposed Radio. So we look forward to you interacting in order to make this conversation nice and rich. So let's get started easy. Why don't we just go down the line? James, starting with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is James Hall. I'm from Baltimore. Raised by a single parent, mainly mostly by my great grandmother. I'm from West Baltimore. Always lived in West Baltimore. From Murphy Homes to Park Heights to White Lock to Poplar Grove. Some pretty wild areas. So I went to public school system. Made it out of the public school system. Made it to Morgan State.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Played ball where, wherever old teammates.
Okay.
So I finished up that, tried to do some things with football, but, so I went and I had my degree to fall back on.
Okay, that sounds good.
So so when I finished that, I went into education in 2001 school year, and that's what I've been pretty much doing ever since.
Love it. No, thank you. Hey, Laura.
Hey. Do I need that mic?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think so.
Okay.
They'll come in and let us know.
All right. Well, I'm Laura Tard. I really like to be called Laura Queen. A lot of my friends call me Queen. But I'm from Jersey. I've been in Baltimore 13 years. I guess people say, "Oh, you're from here now." No, I'm from Jersey.
Jersey in the house. What part of Jersey are you from?
I'm from Trenton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plainfield.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Jersey in the house.
Yeah. I love to see Jersey people.
Always.
I also went to Morgan. I love that it's a Morgan family here.
Yeah.
Morgan gave me too many chances than necessary, but I love me some Morgan. But what else? I'm a newly new entrepreneur. Just got into that about 2 years ago. Have some things coming out this summer. No, I did not bring anything with me. My apologies. But
I can attest to it. It is amazing. So
yeah,
I can't wait for
I have adult beverages. I just did apparel. I have accessories. I do have my little button on today for my little drink. So I don't want to say the words on here because it's a little. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find my lane. Trying to figure out what I can do to make me successful and to have a more detailed or a better story to present to the world. So
okay, I love it. Thank you. And what's the name of your company? You can
Little Thirsty Drinks.
Yeah, Little Thirsty Drinks. What's wong with that?
Well, it used to be Little Thirsty Ass, and now I had to change it because I've been on television, and so I had to switch it up. Although I can't do all of that, but yeah, I switched it up for the people.
Okay, so Little Thirsty Drinks, absolutely. Yes. Hey, Grady.
How you doing?
Great, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow. First off, I'm a science teacher, educator. Just finished up my 18th year. As you know, single parent household raised by my mom up in Boston. I can't say I'm more again, a Philly. I have a niece there. You
Okay,
know, so
then there you go.
There's a connection. Moved from Boston down here to Baltimore because I got tired of the riffraff and the racism, and I saw how welcoming Baltimoreans are. It kind of remind me of parts of Boston, you know, Dudley, Roxbury, and how homegrown folks are. They don't play that crap. All the riots, you know, the inside, how folks really know about it. So that's what kind of brought me down here, because I got to see some white folks get their butts whooped. And that's how Boston used to be, the different parts of Roxbury.
Okay. Thanks, Grady. Hello.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Great. Let's tell us a little bit about yourself, Thomas.
Well, I'm 20 years old, junior in college at Morgan State University.
Congratulations.
I'm a photographer, a videographer, a painter. I'm about to start my own clothing brand.
Excellent.
It's called Purpose without the E.
Okay.
And the meaning behind it is like, you know, some people don't know what their purpose is. Some people know what their purpose is, but I'm also going to, you know, address it like, what is yours? What's yours? To help somebody find their purpose in life. Because there's a lot of people around my age or even older that don't know what their purpose is in life, and they go and live in life without having one. So I feel that would be beneficial and meaningful. My mom, you know, raised me. It was her and my grandmother, but I've always had, you know, father figures, but uncles and, you know, people in the school system that influenced me in life. But it was hard not having my dad when I needed him. Kind of wish he was there when I was younger, but I still have I'm trying to build a better relationship with my dad now.
Okay.
He lives down in Florida, so I go to visit him, you know, during break. But I mean, it's a good connection, but it could be better than what it was. So,
okay.
You know, I just try to make the future better than, you know, think about the past. So.
There's a couple of things that you said that I definitely want to touch upon. I should write it down because it'll go. But the first thing you said was about purpose, your brand. I love that. I love that because not only do I work in that space about helping people recognize what their purpose is, but being raised by a single mom, how has she helped shape your purpose in life? Do you feel like she has?
I mean, you know, certain things that I grew up seeing people do with certain, you know, young males do. She didn't tolerate certain things. Like, well, growing up in, you know, Northwest DC, I went to Whittier Middle School. I went to Ann Beers, it's in Southeast DC. Then I went to Whittier Middle School, it's Northwest, and I went to Coolidge High School. Okay. So when I got in middle school and high school, it's like certain things I knew that people did, I didn't do because I knew my mom wouldn't, you know, tolerate a certain mess. And plus, my uncle, he was a big influence on me, but I knew that he worked in a correctional. He worked in a correctional facility, you know. It just had a certain standpoint where it was like, maybe that's not something that route that I need to go.
Okay.
And that's something I want to deal with. So plus I don't like dealing with drama. A lot of that stuff brings drama. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's good to hear. Laura, first there's a shout out of Hi Laura Queen from Simone Burris. So go ahead and give her a hey, how you doing?
Hey, Simon.
Simon, thank you. Hey, Simon. Thank you for joining us. We have a few people on here, and just a reminder that you can write us in the comment section for any questions that you have for our guests as well. So Laura, going to you, another thing that Thomas mentioned was that he wishes that his father was in that home because there was an absence, I'm assuming, that you felt at some point in your life. Did you ever feel an absence? And if so, can you describe it a little bit?
Honestly, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it until I got older, because I had so much love around me. I had a village. I had so many strong women who, all of them weren't married. So I was just used to just a lot of women. They were very, very strong. Taught me a lot of tips and tools, and dropped a lot of gems on me. So I didn't understand that my father was absent, or the importance of him being absent, until I got out the house on my own, making my own decisions, dating, and just going through life. So now at 31, oh yeah, I need him, and I have a list of things that I need from him. And I didn't think that at this age, you ain't been around that long, you haven't been around this long, what do I need from you? But it's a lot that I really need from him, and he's unable to give it to me at this point in his life, you know, being older, setting his ways. He's not gonna, you know, but really did, and again, I didn't know till after the fact.
Are you comfortable sharing like maybe one thing that you think that you would need him for now, like just at this age?
Well, I mean, I want a family, I want kids, I want to get married, I want all of that. I want the white picket fence, the house, I want to go to PTAs, the soccer mom, I want to do all of that. And I don't know about men enough to understand what it's going to take for me to get all of that. I mean, I have all these women around me tell me, you know, if God's this and this going to come and your time, I get that. But when I get them, what am I supposed to do? How do I communicate with you? You know, I have an idea, you know, based upon what I've seen, but is that really how it is? I need to know, like, what do I do here? And so I really wish that he was able to tell me, you know, this is the type of things that men like, or this is how we think, or just something. And I didn't get it from him at all.
Well, we're going to drop it on you today. We're going to give you some nuggets to walk away with that you're going to know a little bit anyway. So daddy's not here, but guess what? We got some fathers in the room that at least can provide perspective. So I'm not minimizing the fact that he wasn't in the home with you, but I want you to know that the void, the village that you're talking about, we're about to make a little tribe right here, right? Okay. So Grady, can you talk to us about, you heard what Laura just said.
I'm blown away, you know. I usually think that women have all the answers. I've never heard that perspective, so.
I usually do have all the answers.
Yes, here it is.
Well, think about that because we have one more minute, but give us something that was an aha as Laura was talking.
The need for the interaction with her father. I remember at my age, well, not my age, but at a younger age, my father was a part of my life. I'd call him up, and he would have come through, you know, teach me how to be strong. You know, my sister told me, you know, stop waiting for him. I'll call you, let you know, go play. I'll let you know, because he would leave me hanging a bit. And at 9 years old, the streets kind of, my mom, you know, provided the food, the shelter, but, you know, the streets was, you know, the neighborhood, the community kind of raised me up. And I had to observe a lot of the males, the good males, the bad males. My mom told me, you know, life's going to be your father.
So we'll be right back. I love that. Life is going to be your father. Let's bring it back on that when we come back. Now we're talking with Lolita and Mervin.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right.
They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that then
your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like negative 65, this early in the season is pretty rough.
That's
and
horrible.
Then the pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers in 2017. He's 0-4 with a 6.05 ERA. In May alone, he already has 12 earned runs in May. And, another one of their pitchers, Clayton Richard, he's 2-4 with a 4.34 ERA. And, in May, he has 6 earned runs and 12 innings pitched. So they're not pitching well. And on top of that, they are also not batting well.
Right. But it kind of sucks because Manuel Margot is doing pretty good. His the past few at bats, his last.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
Like keys only have this bitch jumping.
Okay. If I sit around, hold up.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We are just getting into the crux of things. If you're just joining, it is week 4 and we are talking business building the business of family, looking at the lens from being raised by a single mom. So we have James here, we have Laura, we have Grady, and we have Thomas. We have ranges of educators, entrepreneurs, strong women being raised, someone in college. You have an author of A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son, and we are just laying everything on the table. So before we left, I did want to recognize a couple of people that are with us. Denise, hello. Simon, hello. Thank you for joining. And we left with Grady leaving us with this awesome quote that just intrigued me a little bit. Life will be your father. That's what someone told you. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I just made up just now.
Oh, you just made it up? Trademark it now. Trademark it now.
Well, like I say, I kind of piggybacked off my mom about being observant, not having an older brother, not having the family so close around, during the major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. My big cousin, that was like my major male figure, but he'd only pop up during the major holidays, and he'd give me that death look like you're doing what you got to do. You're taking care of your mother. It's your schoolwork, and he'll grab me real close and be up in my face, and I had to present to him everything I've done up to the last time he seen me. So him and my grandfather were my male role models that were positive. You still had the streets. I got my older cats, not those old head titles that we hate, but the older cats around the neighborhood that taught us about don't do it. You got to get jumped. This is what you got to do. You got to grab one dude, choke him, make him scream, so they all get off you type stuff.
So you didn't have a father in the house, but it sounds like your village, as Laura was saying, her village was surrounded by women. Your village had a lot of male figures in it that were able to show you the toughness or the life, or no, didn't you say?
I would say very similar to hers. Matriarchs was totally covering the whole family dynamics. And even though my grandfather, was, I wouldn't say he's a patriarch, but everything ran through my grandmother. Everything ran through my great aunt. So we had 2 matriarchs on the same side of families.
How'd the OGs fit in there?
They fit in underneath, Grandpa, he liked to do his drinking, so him not being on top of things, we actually liked him better when he was drunk versus when he was sober. Okay. So Grandma, the checks came to her, she was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, cool. So James, I see you sitting over there pondering. It's a lot going on. We didn't give y'all pens and pads to write down the little things that came up about our discussion, but we talked a little bit about self-worth. One of the themes inside of Mervin's book is all about your self-worth. Talk to us about how did you gain that self-worth when you were growing up? Who gave it to you? How did you get that instilled in you?
I think it was more of that village, and it just being exposed to things, like just being exposed to a lot, and I mean like a serious lot. Like I didn't have dad in the house. Like my dad was locked up,
because that's very interesting, because my perspective is so different from how I grew up. So when we come back, we're going to see the differences in people growing up and introducing their fathers. When we come back on Now We're Talking Live.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. Yeah, you know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs over constructive criticism over Perry's show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn, because I'm going to make a promo out of this anyway and share it to your page. I need the scenes on Have and Have-Nots to be like 5% shorter, each one. I want you to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, because this is supposed to be a soap opera. No one's dialogue on The Young and the Restless is like this. You don't have to talk about the random plant in the corner.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Now We're Talking with Mervin A. Bourne and Lolita E. Walker. We are just rich with conversation. Gaynell, thank you so much for joining the party. Welcome. So we are streaming live on Facebook. Please share. This topic we are talking about is business building, but building the business of families, particularly when raised from a single mother. So at the end of this, we definitely are going to talk about tips and tricks that we want to give to single mothers that's out there based on the experiences that you're hearing today. So we've heard things from all over the gamut, but Mervin, this is your book, and how does everything tie in?
So in terms of self-worth and self-esteem, the perspective I entered it from was, what are some of the mistakes that parents, and primarily mothers, because we live in a society where roughly 70% of children are being raised in single-parent household, and if you're talking about specifically black households, that number goes up to around 80% are being raised in single-parent households, and most single parents are women. So the whole idea of single parenthood is really single motherhood in most cases. When you're looking at the issue of building self-worth and self-esteem, it really comes down to what is that child or those children being taught about their own value, about their own worth and their own self-esteem. So there are no absolutes, but it really, what you're being taught matters. So for example, if you're being taught that you can't step outside unless you got Jordans on, or somehow you're not as valuable if your clothes are not always fresh, then what does that mean to kids whose parents don't have it like that, or kids whose parents are on drugs and they don't care how they leave the house? Like, what does that mean for kids in school who are looking at what everybody else has, what they got on. So like we are guilty as a society, generally speaking, of raising our kids to feel like your value is directly in alignment with your financial worth, with what you're wearing on your feet, what kind of job you have, because, and here's the thing, like that transition happens from childhood to adulthood. So if that's what you believe, that your worth and your value comes from outside of you as a child, when you become an adult, you're likely going to believe the same thing. So like when we're 25, 30, 35, 40, we meet people and we're like amazed at how people are shallow, or how people really like look down on other people who don't have certain things. But that's something that's learned. That's a mentality and a mindset that's learned. So if you are an adult that judges people based on how much money they make, what kind of car they drive, superficial things, which we all know people like that, right? That they didn't just become that way at age 30 or age 40. More than likely, they were never taught what self-worth and self-esteem really is and what it comes from.
Because are you linking that to being a single mother?
What I'm linking it to is parenting.
Okay.
And so the paradigm that we live in this country right now is a single parent paradigm.
Okay, gotcha.
Because most of our children are raised by single parents. That's just the reality.
So let's talk about, because I'm a single mom, so I'm listening and I'm trying to pull all this stuff in, take all the experiences, which are so different than mine.
Right.
I mentioned that I was raised in a dual family household, but I'm raising a son with the father not in the home, but the father is as present as possible. But there are some things that you miss when you're not in the home every single day. So how did I have tactics and strategies that I use with my son to make sure that he recognizes his self-worth? He knows that he is greatness before anybody else, regardless of who's around you, regardless of if somebody says you're a fatherless son. You're not, but let's talk about that. So what I want to do is, if we could go down the line and you guys talk to us about how, it might not have been your mother, but how was self-worth instilled in you? I know we said like you see some people on a corner and they tell you, or, you know, but what was it that gave you this self-worth? Like, I am worthy to be in this space where I am, despite my father not being right here with me.
Well, I mean, I want to ask you a question, but like, what are the tactics that you use to install it into your son?
Yeah, so for me, what I do is, my son, every day, and he's in first grade, okay? I believe in affirmations. I believe in I am. I believe that as you say those, it manifests into reality for a number of reasons. So you should have been on my self-care journey 2 weeks ago. So I believe in those. So my son says an affirmation every day, right? That doesn't mean that he goes out and all of a sudden magic happens, right? But I remind him when he comes in, so they do a color system at school. They have green, blue, yellow, red. There was a period of time where Walker was coming home on red all the time, right? But yet I hadn't gotten a call from the teacher. When I went into school, I was the one who started the conversations about what's going on. He's getting bullied. He's just being disrespectful. What does disrespect look like? And that happens in schools, right? So how do I partner? So back to your question of what do I do is, I remind him of what is right and what is wrong. I remind him that when he leaves out of this house, he's a reflection of me. He's a reflection of his dad, who's not here, but we have a great co-parenting relationship. I remind him of those things. And I also remind him that you are better than what it is that you're demonstrating right now. Look at what you're showing. When somebody says your name, Walker George Bishop, what do you want that? Just last night I had this conversation with him. Just last night. What do you want them to say about you? He tells me all these things I want them to say. But what are they saying about you? How are we going to change that? So that's some of the stuff that I do at 1. And again, I'm a first-time mom. My son is in first grade. But I remember those things because that's what my mother and father collectively did. And then that's what I have done in life to remind myself of my greatness when everything's not around me.
Right. So something I talk about in my book to that point is the whole idea of instilling in our kids that you're born valuable. You are inherently valuable. That means you're valuable because you're here.
Yeah.
You don't get value from somebody else. A boyfriend or a girlfriend doesn't give you value. A man doesn't give you value. Your clothes don't give you value. Your Mercedes doesn't give you value. You are inherently
And it's easy to say because we believe it and we know it, but sometimes you got to experience it.
Well, some of us as adults, a lot of us as adults don't even know that. So we really got to be real about that.
Yeah.
But the percentage of parents that are doing what you just described in terms of affirmations is very small.
I agree.
Right? So, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Absolutely.
So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's huge. The whole idea of value and inherent worth that is internal, not external. Like we talk about God all the time, especially black people are some of the most religious people on the planet. But we don't teach our children that this God is not all external. It starts internally.
That you are the God.
Because if God is everywhere, then why doesn't that include in you? Obviously it does, but that's not what we really teach our kids.
Yeah, so, okay, because I don't want to get on religion. I believe that. Yeah, let's not do that because it'll take me. It's a great topic to have on a future show. But I get what you're saying.
But it's tied into inherent value. You are valuable because you are here, because you were born, because if you believe in God, because God made you.
Absolutely.
God is in
you are unique in you being you.
Right.
So while you on this green earth, blue earth, whatever earth, while the world is the world a square or a circle? While the world is here and you're here for this limited time, how are you going to move in it and know you're valuable? So that's my strategy. So help us with that.
I believe my mother tried to do her best to rearing me. So she would say, you represent me.
Yeah.
Leave out. So my decorum had to be a certain way.
Yeah.
But my actions probably were different. But she, installed me at a young age. She, But my uncles had a lot of family members. But they played a big part in being a father figure, being the person that I didn't have in the house, outside of that. So the value from is how to be a man and what things I should and shouldn't do and how I should treat a woman. Like growing up watching my mom, growing up seeing her, trying to be in a relationship or whatever. Certain things I didn't like how people were doing or how they treated her. So I was like, I don't want somebody to. I wouldn't want to treat nobody like that. Then the current relationship that she's in had its ups and downs, but being a college student, I told her, if he's gonna treat you good, I even had talked to her and said, all I want you to do is treat my mother good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't want to have to see her go through what she went through again.
I love that.
Are you gonna be a repeat, or are you gonna be here? And from the standpoint of saying that, from not having my father there every day, that's why I said, are you gonna be here in her life? I don't need you. But she wants somebody to be in her life because the person that she loved the most hurted her the most.
And we all been, as you grow older, then the person that you put all in sometimes breaks your heart. But growing from that, and that's what I hear you saying, is that you've seen some things, but you've grown as an individual based on that. And so your worth, what I think I hear you saying is your worth has come from your experiences, but it's also come from what you've seen other people do that you want to make sure that you're doing or not doing. Is that what you think you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I love it. All right. Grady, what you got? Thank you for that. That was good.
Oh, my self-worth on how it was built, like a tree trunk, ring by ring. Of course, Mom, she instilled early on, her and my grandmother didn't get along. Grandma didn't do a good job of raising her. She didn't really raise her. She kind of left her hanging. But when my mother brought us over to the grandparents' house, we could feel the tension between my grandmother and her. And, we know that she truck driver, he'll come by and scoop us up and take us out to the movies, to go see the Kung Fu Theater down in Boston, Combat Zone, and then he'll be out. He was, not that great with the money finances, and Miss Hawkins, his wife would take the money, and before, Mr. Hawkins kind of got that thirst, and just again that neighborhood, and we just stayed on top of each other. We would go out. Some of my friends would be abused by their parents and stuff like that. So we had to stay and jump in, and grab. I had to grab my boy Lonnie every weekend because his stepfather was very abusive. So we just still drummed it over and over. Some of us be crying in the cars. Be cold at night. Damon didn't have anything to eat. Bring him over.
Got it. Thank you. So Laura, when we come back, Laura and James, when we come back, definitely want to start with you guys on, now that we're talking about the things that are, really coming up as we're getting older and self-worth, what's something that you want to share with the audience, particularly single moms, that you want to give them a tip or a trick to think about as far as self-worth or goal setting or anything based on your experience? All right, so we're talking tips with both of you guys as soon as we come back. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon. Hey, Tina.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement.
Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
A minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange radio show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response? And I guess when I had to meet with that said person who had the issue with the person who was said leader of that organization, I said, well, to that person, how would I have known that? Well, you should have asked.
I think so. You want my opinion?
It was a circle, and I was willing to go on that merry-go-round.
You are better than most.
Yeah.
I think that's normal when you're in a group and there's norming. Most of the time when you're in new work environments or you're in a space where you're getting to know people, it's normal now to ask for people's preferred pronouns. You wouldn't have known that.
Normal to who? What is normal?
Well, you work in social... You work in social innovation and
my pronouns, so it's not normal to me.
You don't.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Now We're Talking with Mervin A. Bourne and Lolita E. Walker. We are here with an amazing panel, and we have been talking about building businesses family first, especially because, as Mervin pointed out, not only his book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son, which is, I didn't want to throw everything out, but which is right here, as he pointed out, we are living in a society now where we have a majority of children being raised by single mothers. And what does that look like and feel like, and how does it look differently? So you can grab us at Facebook on Now We're Talking or BeExposedRadio.com. We want to do a shout out to my line sister who's getting married. Hey, Jill. And also this weekend. And then also Dina, thanks for joining. Gaynell. We have Denise Simon. I hope you're still there and I'm saying your name right after like the third try. So now that we're back, we want to talk about, we're going to start with Laura, and then we're going to go to James. But what's one thing that you want to tell single moms or grandmas out there raising these children that you wish you would have known growing up?
I wish that my mother died when I was 10, so there wasn't a lot that I took from her but survival skills, because it was just her and me and my little sister. So I was a latchkey kid, so I had to figure things out. And then I went on to my grandmother, who was also taking care of other people's kids and things like that. So I'm in this household with everybody else and their issues, and I got issues and things like that. But I would just say I wish that people paid more attention to me in a sense of asking me how I'm feeling and what's going on. You know, I just lost my mother, you know, so talk to me more and let me know, you know, that you're concerned about, you know, how I'm feeling. And I understand that, you know, single mothers, they have all these things they have to do. When they have all these responsibilities, they have to go above and beyond. I get that. But I'm left high and dry. You know, I just wanted someone to be a little more concerned for me, just a little bit. And again, like I said, I have friends, my homegirls, they got, you know, kids, single moms, they trying to make it happen, and it's really hard. And you know, a lot of them, you know, just want to push the kid off because they're not used to that. Look, I want to go live my life, and so it's like, no, you gotta pay attention to them. You gotta keep tabs on them. You know, you don't want to lose them. You know, so I think sometimes I got a little lost. And that's why I left home, because I was lost, and I figured, let me go find my own path. Let me go do my own thing. No one's paying me no attention here. I don't have my mother here. And so that's all I wanted, just somebody to pay a little bit more attention to me.
Absolutely. That is such, wow, like such, just even taking a moment to sit in that is so powerful, because I think the power that you have from going through that experience and probably still experiencing some of that is the power that you can give to your friends who are going through similar situations. And it's okay, and it's okay, because I can feel the energy and the passion and the lack thereof that you're experiencing right now, right? And it's touched me because I have a son. And knowing that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm always on my computer, you know, and I need that pause. I need that pause, and I teach people about that pause. But me intentionally, what you've helped me with today is remembering to be intentional on taking that pause and spending that time with him. Because although he's there, and we do a little bit of this, we'll watch TV together, no, the time that I had when I was growing up is the same one he needs. And just because my situation doesn't have to be his situation, you know what I mean? My situation. So I thank you for that, because honestly, you saying that made me think, like, I had family meetings when I was young. My father, my mother, my brother. Family meeting right now is 7 o'clock. Let's talk about it. It was structured. I started family meetings and I've tailored off a little bit because my situation has changed a little bit. But there's no reason that doesn't happen. So just thank you for just saying that, because as you were talking and refilling that stuff, I was feeling it, and then in my mind playing how I'm going to do that. So thank you. All right. So what would you say, James? The one thing. Okay, gotcha.
The one thing that I would say to mothers is to, basically just stop trying to be trying to turn your kids into your friends. Like, you're doing things to kind of, please them, and then please them so you have a good relationship with your children. You weren't about the relationship with your child, instead of what is the outcome of your child. And a lot of that time, it goes back to a lot of the conversations that we've had already. And one of those conversations was that internal self-esteem and the actual value. So when you get stuck in a situation, which we have been stuck in for over 400 years, whereas though that value and some of these things have been taken away from you, the psychological damage, PSTD, whatever they're saying, yeah, black people have that shit too. You understand? There's no way we cannot have it. Some people deal with it in different ways, but if you are lacking that value, so that if you don't have that value, that changes the whole conversation that you're having with your kid. You know, instead of, you know, when you are valuing tennis and clothes, and so that you can take pictures of little Johnny, and so you can put it on the gram, and then you don't see Johnny for 4 days, and he may just, you know, come in and see you passed out on the couch. You know, that's like you're doing it all wrong, because 9 times out of 10, it wasn't done for you right, and it wasn't done for your mother right, and there are several other variables that can, you know, go into that equation to make why that actually existed. So you got to change the dynamics of the relationships that you have with your kids and start instilling more value in them. You cannot depend on these people to put value in your kid. Like, go back 100 years. Why are we depending on people to put value on your kids? That's like you sending your kid to school and they come back home and you just depending on their education. You're not having nothing with them. That's where the value comes from.
No good. So a question as we move back towards this side of the table, and even including you, Mervin, when you talk about the book, is how do we now, because we on this show are all about leaving value with our listeners and our audience. So off of this rich information, how do we begin to shift the paradigm for the single mothers out there? Not that they need to be married, or I'm not suggesting that, but how do we, when we come back, shift the paradigm of being a friend, not being a friend, of goal setting, of doing these things that are now going to help mothers that's out there or grandmothers that's out there start to instill some values inside of our children?
I think one of the things is very important to do.
Go ahead.
When we come back, is start by acknowledging that a lot of the things that we're talking about, a lot of the mistakes that we see and that get talked about, they come from good intentions.
Yeah.
They don't come from a place of bad intention.
Absolutely.
They come from not having the tools to do better, not knowing better, not having the experiences themselves. So I think we need to definitely acknowledge that and then build off of that so that we're not coming from a negative space. And so I never want people to think that my perspective is coming from a negative space or looking down on or judging anyone. It's coming from a perspective of, let's acknowledge our situation, be real about it, and then build off of it.
Love it. When we're back, we'll talk it all. All right. Bye. Can I say something real quick?
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. It ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned, then fucked over. But remain strong through the past over. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me, then let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I beat the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save you, the weed too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry favors, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patients run that, yeah, nigga OT, cause they wanna see me down like I'm NCT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me. Say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artists, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, and welcome back. Welcome back to Now We're Talking with Mervin A. Bourne and Lolita E. Walker. Wow, the conversation that we have had today, I'm looking at the clock and it's already 8:30. I can't believe it. So we have probably about 25 more minutes with you guys, and we are going to try to get it in. So we have been talking week 4 on business building, but building the business of your family, particularly as a single mother and being raised by single mothers or single women in a household, and all of these values that you get out of that, and then some things that you want to change as you go into parenthood in the future. So we're looking at Mervin's book. You want to give us a skinny on your book?
Sure. It's called A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son. The book was written by me, was inspired by my experiences having my father in the home and then having him not in the home, and being raised all my teenage years by my mother, and then working with the criminal justice system, the child welfare system, dealing with abused and neglected children for a number of years, working in corporate America, going to college and law school, and just putting all of those experiences together, observing other parents and mothers and fathers and the issues that are ailing our community and our country, and I wanted to put something together that could be an immediate source for mothers to change the way they're doing things, to do things better, and to have a resource of help immediately that they could implement right away and not be dependent on what somebody else outside of their home is doing or not doing.
Awesome. So talking about that spirit of help, let's ask, down this side of the table, Thomas and Grady, we talked a little bit with James and with Laura before we left about what's this one thing that you would tell single moms or grandmothers, women that's out there raising these children, sons or daughters. What's one thing you would tell them? So let's start here with Thomas.
To be more active. Not active where you can be more active in your life, but like being more active in activities that they partake in, like extracurricular activities. Like I played basketball in middle school and high school, and I told my mom about my games, but she wouldn't come to every game, but she would come to some games. But considering the fact that my dad wasn't there, she was really my only support, and my grandmother. But just to be more active, more involved with what their child is doing now, rather than what they're doing and what they want to be doing. So.
And that pairs well with just what you said, Laura, about being present.
And see, my grandmother used to come to my games. That's because we're all tall, so everyone in my family played ball. So she was always there. She was there for that. That was her thing, though. And so I did all that. I did all that sports and extracurricular activities, so I wouldn't be home. I gained a family of friends outside of the house because they weren't paying me no mind. So I'm gonna go out here and do this. I'm on the debate team, chess club, basketball, softball. I did everything. Track team. I did anything and everything I could just to be around people who were going to show me attention and love on a higher level.
But you knew enough. I love that. But you knew enough to follow a path of positivity, to follow a path that was going to nourish you. I dare to say because there was a village around you. So there was something. But there's so many people out there, and I hate that we don't have time to go in just to the education and what you guys see on a daily basis, but there's so many people that don't have that village, and they do go somewhere to find this family, this sisterhood, this parenthood, and it unfortunately can be to the streets, which is the people that love on them, right? Because of the absence. So I love what you said. Thanks for sharing that. Grady, what's that one thing you would tell?
I can throw a little educator.
Okay.
those ratchets. Learn how to use your emotions in the right way. Yeah, I'm angry. I can fall back. I'm losing, like in a boxing match. If you're getting jacked up, you know you got to hold somebody, hold them till you catch your wind, and then push them off type things.
Yeah. So Walker, if you end up watching this, let me tell you, don't go to school beating people up. Okay, we'll come back. Sorry, I had to take that commercial break. He's gotten in trouble for accidentally hitting somebody. But what I will say is that you need to protect yourself. So I do agree with that. You protect yourself, but you're not gonna go to school boxing anybody because that's what gets you put out.
No sense in accident.
Okay, you gotta understand the situation. Okay, great. No, I love that. Go ahead,
Is he winning though?
Is he?
I'd rather my son be a bully than be getting punked.
Yeah, no, I do not rather any type of bullyship. I do not condone that. I don't. But maybe that goes into you saying, you know, you talking to us about not, you know, not being too, you know, like mothers. I know you mentioned that you could be too light on your sons. You know, that's up for perspective.
Over nurturing.
Over nurturing.
I think is what was said before.
Yeah, over nurturing. That was
losing
it.
my only fight in life, and you know, I came home. My mom was like, "What's wrong?" She was calling me, and I was like, "Yo, fuck off," you know. Not got fuck off me, mom. But I was like, "Yo, I don't need baby. I need these hands faster. I need to get stronger." You know. After a while, I was like, "Okay, mom, give me the weights. I need the weights." And she bought me, you know, my weight set. Was down there, banged it out. You know.
Yeah, I do think that we need ways and strategies for our black males in particular to be able to, you know, let loose some steam and some anger. So I do agree with that, and I think that that's where you're going with the boxing and the kickboxing and stuff.
Yeah, it actually touches on what I was going to add in terms of advice or tip is never lose sight of the fact that your children are watching you.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of times parents do things and they think they're being slick. We think we're being slick. We underestimate our kids. Our kids are sponges. So if you're a single parent, then even more so, you're being watched even more because there's no diversion in the house. There's no other person for that child to be focusing on or all the focus is on you.
Yeah.
So your children are watching how you resolve conflict. They're watching how you deal with your relationships. If you're a man, they're watching how you interact with in your personal relationships. If you're a woman, they're watching how you interact with men or in the relationships in your life. If your reaction is to scorch the earth, you know, in warfare they talk about, you know, the scorched earth tactic, where you basically burn everything down. If that's the way you handle conflict, your children are watching that. How you think they're going to handle conflict?
Yeah, I agree.
So a lot of times, and I'm sure the people in the school system can weigh in, when you see children that go from 0 to 10 on everything, chances are they learn that from somewhere. So again, it's not about blame, but it's about being cognizant of the fact that you're being watched. Your behaviors are being transferred to your children 9 times out of 10. So be more accountable about what you show your child, what you teach, because we're teaching, even when we're not actively teaching, we're passively teaching.
So for myself, I've been, you know, a teacher, seeing that child who's taking too long to get from 0 to get to 10, had to pull him to the side. Listen, you know,
this is about to go bad.
Yeah. You better stop being a little bitch, you know. I'm going to fall back. You better hit him. I'll come in at the right time so that you learn, you know, just how I feel and let that hand go. So
I believe there's a time for that. I do. Okay, I love it. So we still have a little bit of time, and we leave our viewers every week with an acronym of what we've talked about. So I'm going to list the acronym that I gained from what everybody around this table has said, and then if you have thoughts on it, let's talk about it, okay? Because we have a little bit of time. So what I'm summarizing is not only get the book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son by Mervin A. Bourne, which is amazing, and it's a short read. How many pages is it?
115 or so.
115-ish, so you could read it in a bathroom. And get some nuggets there. But your children are watching you, right? We talked about that, especially as a single mother or a single parent. They only have you right there in the home every day, so they're watching you. And when we list out single, S-I-N-G-L-E, the nuggets that we're leaving them with, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect, is show respect even if it is that you don't like the person. Even if you don't like the person, whether it's your father, your mother, whoever, you still show respect when that person is around, right? The I is isolating your issue, that is your own issue, and give attention to your child. be present. We talked about how important that is, right? Being present, being right there for your children, because they are looking up to you. They need you. They need that love, that support, that guidance, those values. They need that. And sometimes we talked about, you forget that your children are children. Sometimes when you're a single parent, you forget that they not like your same age and just holding them. I mean, that definitely is resonating with me. And it's for no means no. It's okay to say no, but when you say it, mean it and act upon it, right? Gear your actions to you being a parent, not a friend. You talked about so many single parents out there want to be your friend. You know, sometimes you have your children young and they're growing up with you because you still want to do it, but prioritizing that, hey, you're a parent, not a friend right now. I remember my parents told me when I was growing up, I'm not your friend. When I got to college, it changed though. Like, I was like, what happened? The first weekend, I was like, oh, they're cool again. Like, who are you? But they were very clear, right? Life will be your father. I love that. You know, nourish your children, but not too much, and understanding that balance. When your father's not around or in the house every single day, then life will be that. And so to the moms, you said, you know, nourish, but don't nourish too much. And then expose yourself to a village. That's that E. Expose yourself to a village, because we're teaching, whether you're active or passively doing it, but we're always teaching. So you talked about self-defense classes. Like, get in those activities, be present, know how to defend yourself, but also know how to nourish on the backside of that. So we have some time. You guys just jump in where you fit in, and we have a couple of minutes in order just to, you know, share some lasting things, at least if you got it from here.
Yeah, I would like to say something about the whole idea of over-nourishing, because I don't want to give parents the wrong idea about that. The perspective I looked at that from in my book was shielding your children from adversity. A lot of times it's very, very tempting to shield your child from pain, suffering, adversity, hardship, because the reality is, everybody that has kids know you don't want your kids to go through anything.
Right.
Really. Yep. But you also got to take a step back and understand that you're really causing them harm by not allowing them to go through adversity, by not allowing them to see an obstacle, be afraid of it, confront that fear, buckle down, work hard, or face whatever the fear is, and then either overcome it or fail. There's value whichever way it goes, but the value is in confronting the fear. And if you're always removing all your kids' obstacles or enabling your child, like your child, say for example, waits till the last minute to do an assignment and then turns in some BS and then gets a bad grade on it, I'm sure you all have seen parents come up to the school and everything is the teacher's fault. Everything can't always be the teacher's fault, right? So if you notice something that your child should have done better or could have done better, or some deficiency, address that, help them learn from it, and don't teach your child to blame everything on everybody else around you, because guess what? I know some grown people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and older who everything is somebody else's fault. That doesn't start when they're 40 and 50 years old. It starts from childhood. And typically it's learned behavior. So that's what I would say about
so it still goes back to that same point of, like, we talked about ourselves, like, you kind of want to say that you can't hold somebody accountable for something if they don't know it, right? But in the same sense, it's like knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. E.P. Newton said that power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. So if you have that knowledge, which gives you that power, then you're able to distinguish and kind of filter out some of that stuff. Because we're talking about, like, what your mom may be doing or may not be doing. Most of the time, mom is, you might not even, most of these kids are not even seeing mom, because mom is busting her. Remember, we talk about a single mom. Single mom is killing herself to make sure. So the little time that she does have with her kids, that's some part of the reason why that relationship is like that, because you know that's the only way that love can really come out and express. So that right there is a place where, as though, once they can kind of educate their kids to their own actual value, you understand that once you learn some things this culture from actual, like, your culture, like the things that you are supposed to be doing, the thing, like where your mind is supposed to be at. Whereas though that you can look at a music video, right? Like the brother was saying, like we came up on Rakim, we came up on Big Daddy Kane, some of those, you know what I'm saying? I was more, you know, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang Clan, and that type of thing. But at the same time, I listened to the music. The music was violent. The music was all, you know what I'm saying? But it did not. Well, I would say what it's doing for kids right now. Like kids in my neighborhood are listening to this stuff, and they're taking it at face value. I'm drinking lean codeine. We got kids sniffing dope, doing everything they hear on the radio. But remember, it's called radio programming. Right. They turn on the TV. You're getting programmed again to nonsense. When we came home, it was G.I. Joe. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Cosby Show. We had other things that are going on. That stuff is not in the programming right now. So these kids have a lot of stimuli that's coming at them. And when you have a single mom that she's out, like she can't do the thing that she can do, what she need to do, so she's given an iPad and all that stuff. So now they got access to YouTube and all of these other things that they are sitting there looking at, and their head is exploding with all of this negative stuff. So even when people trying to tell them stuff, they like, I can't really distinguish between, because I cannot see tomorrow. I don't see how this is really going to affect me, because most of these kids don't think they're getting to 18.
And I think that comes back into what we were talking about, you know, leaving mothers that are looking and saying, Dag, I think I'm doing that. What can I do differently? We want to leave them with the what can I do differently. Some of what we talked about is making that time. And you got to prioritize. So, yep, I got to go out and I got to grind. Yep, they got an iPad. But guess what? I got to spend that time. So I think that's where we're leaving them exactly, is that you got to get those nuggets, whether it's through this book, whether it's listening to us, whether if it's listening to YouTube. Laura said it perfectly, is that now when we were off the air, we're inside of this world now where the same way we talked social media a couple of weeks ago, is that information is instantaneous. It could be bad, but then how do you make it good? Look it up if you don't know it, because YouTube is only a click away, right? It's so much out there now that now the excuse of I didn't know is not there anymore, because you can know. Absolutely. And so I want to shift to this side. I brought up what we talked about in the break, but anything else like on that? It's just like excuses. That's what you're talking about.
I grew up with my father's side of the family into military, police, corrections officer, drill sergeants, you know, things like that. There were no excuses. Because it was just my mother, my little sister, and myself for those 10 years, you know, it was a survival thing. There is no excuse. We have to do this. We have to do X, Y, and Z so we can survive, so we can make it, so we can do better and have more. And then moving into the environment with my grandmother and then everyone else, all my other cousins and things like that, that was another survival type mode. So there were no excuses for why I'm getting bad grades. There were no excuses as to why, you know, I'm just acting out. You know, there weren't any excuses. You couldn't make an excuse. And so I don't have a whole bunch of excuses in my life today.
Absolutely. Nor do you tolerate them.
None whatsoever.
So Simon just said too, and thank you for pointing this out, because you're absolutely right, is that's not just a single mother issue. Dual parent homes also don't lean in as much as they should and invest the time with their kids. Parents leave kids with electronics for way too long. Absolutely. And a lot of what we're talking about here, to your point, Simon, is all of these tactics and tools, yes, they go towards a single mother because that's the perspective that we're coming from. But nowadays, with information flow so quickly, all of this stuff just amounts to anybody that's out there. We got dual mothers, we got partners working so damn hard, busting themselves for all these jobs, living in these huge houses around town, you know what I mean? And then you have these kids that's out there. So share with us something.
I saw this post on Instagram earlier. It's like parents will go broke for their children, but they won't get rich for their children. And I said it like 3 or 4 times. And how I interpreted it is, like, growing up, my mother brought me what I needed. And sometimes she brought me what I wanted, because I was the only child, so I'm her only child. And I remember
we're gonna wrap up and then do the after the show so we can let everybody know how they can contact each of you guys, because I hear entrepreneurs, I hear that there's some great stuff that you guys are doing, mentoring. So we're gonna do a quick after the show video, and then we're gonna post it tonight. But we have Thomas, who is a junior at Morgan State University. Thank you so much for being here. It's always great to get that perspective. We have Grady, who's in the school system and gave us a lot of different perspectives of how he was raised. We have Laura. Thank you so much for sharing. You've given me some nuggets to take back and ponder myself. And then James, thank you very much. And then also to the perfect co-host, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of this.
You're welcome. It was a blast.
It was. All right. So we'll be back, I think, if not after the show.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'ma show these niggas what to do at one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man.
You are listening to the Exposed
Radio. I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I sent y'all the links yesterday. Hey, and welcome back to Now We're Talking. I didn't realize we were back, but hey, welcome back to Now We're Talking with Mervin A. Bourne and Lolita E. Walker. We have just had such a phenomenal panel today, really trying to get deep, but I feel like we only touched the surface, you guys.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about.
So much to talk about, but really left you guys with some nuggets, 6 nuggets of, your children are watching you, and just to single moms, fathers, the village that's out there. So we'll put that up. Just want to go down the line and just tell people how they can keep in contact with you guys and what you're doing.
For me, my photography Instagram is CapDeye. You guys can DM anything.
Okay.
I'm a photographer, videographer.
All right. That's Thomas. That's Thomas at Morgan State University. He's a junior, and I can't wait to see all the greatness that's coming out of you. Seriously, very impressed.
Past students probably can reach me at Grady26 at Yahoo, Grady 26 at Yahoo, because I'm on some scoop that's out behind the door type stuff.
Okay.
Covert type things.
Okay, I love it. Laura?
For all my libations, or anything that you want in that reference, you can reach me on Instagram. It's Lil Thirsty Drinks, LIL. And my apparel will be out this summer. Website coming really soon. Really excited. So yeah, just find me on Instagram.
And I have had Little Thirsty Drinks, and I will tell you, they are phenomenal. She just puts her foot up in there. It was a different name when I was sipping on them, but it's the same product, just a different title. So I love it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
So you can reach me at jhall02@bcps.k12.md.us. I do, that's long, but so I am a member of the Band of Brothers. We are a community organization organization that we kind of reach out. We work with Baltimore Ceasefire. We do a lot of things around in the neighborhood. We work with the Squeegee Boys. We just kind of trying to find areas of need and just kind of get back to that village. But we do have an event coming up on May 11th in Gilmore Homes, 638 North Gilmore Street, from 12 to 3. It's just going to be food, music, different vendors. Merv, come out with your book, and it will be very powerful. You can come out and be looking for vendors if you want to come out and share everything that you're actually doing. It's just like it's called a family hood event. It's a family hood
so we'll get in touch with you for that.
Yes. Yeah, so you can reach out on. We actually have a social media. Band of Brothers is like Instagram, and I'm not too.
That's okay. Media. We'll talk it after the show too. Don't worry, we're not done with you, Mervin.
You can buy my book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son, on Amazon.com, available in paperback as well as ebook. My website is mervinbourne.com, www.mervinbourne.com. You can also reach me on Facebook at Mervin Bourne, on Twitter at Mervin Bourne, and on Instagram at TheMABJR.
Excellent. And I'm Lolita Walker, your other co-host. I'm at lolitawalker.com, Lolita Walker.com. And as we were talking today, I got the question of how do I empower my son? How do I give him that self-worth? And I talked about affirmations. So I do have personal affirmations that you can purchase in a deck of 40 affirmation cards, as well as I do personalized affirmations. In my book, The Intersection of You and Change, you'll also see at the website. So we thank you guys for calling in. Please stay tuned for after the show. We'll post a video. And kudos to you guys. Congratulations on where you are, not letting a situation that some look at as dire shape you into somebody that you're not, because obviously you are around this table for a reason. I'm a single mother, and let me tell you, it is not a negative. So we're going to make this thing happen, and we're going to be that village that helps raise our children,
Absolutely.
Right? All right. Take care, and thank you for joining in. See you next week.
Hey, there's my son. You've been in your room all morning.
Hey, Dad.
Matt, what's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Oh, well, it's just sort of.
I have been playing my video games and electronic games for so many hours.
Uh-huh. Well, it sounds like it might be time for you to take a break, or...
Hello, Dad.
Susan?
I have been watching TV and text messaging all morning. Yay, electronics. Yay, yay, yay.
Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and take a little trip. Maybe see some trees, some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get out to the forest and discover the wonders of nature with your family, just like Blue, Jewel, and the whole Rio flock.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah!
Let's rock this jungle.
Fresh air,
What a